it was quite mad in a sense of, I remember one day there was this package on my desk and I opened it, the days of mail, lots of mail, and I opened it and it was a plastic foot. And there was a note that said, now I've got my foot in the door. No. There was people knocking on doors, it was literally everyone wanted to be on the show.
Hi and welcome to this very special season of McLaren Versus, celebrating 25 years of the iconic series The Secret Life of Us, a show that is somewhat close to my own heart. Now, over the next few episodes, we're going to be talking to some of the cast and the creators of the show to give you that access all areas chat you have come to expect. So sit back as we take you on a ride through the noughties and one of Australia's most loved TV series from the inside out. This is McLaren Versus The Secret Life of Us. 25 years ago, a group of messy, hopeful 20-somethings living in St Kilda rewrote the rules of Australian television. The Secret Life of Us didn't just tell stories, it captured a generation. It held up a mirror to our friendships, our failures, our wild optimism, and the way we're all trying to figure out life on the fly. Well, today I am joined by a person who helped shape the soul of that show in a very powerful way. And that is the brilliant Wizzy Evans, casting director whose eye, instincts and absolute fearlessness helped assemble a cast that defined a generation of Australian storytelling. Wizzy, welcome to McLaren Versus.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Oh, it's great.
So lovely to see you.
I know.
Haven't changed a bit.
I know. We're just like, 22, 3, 4, whatever we were back then. Yeah. We did see we have caught up over the years because it's 25 years since we shot that, which is hard to believe.
Incredible.
But I think, was it a couple of years ago we saw each other up in Sydney? We caught up for a drink there.
Yes.
That's right. And you, of course, now continuing to cast up here.
Yes.
And you've moved a lot into... I use that word? Factual, thank you, that's the word. Yes.
Well, factual documentary and unscripted, which is, I guess, your reality side. So, but also still doing all sorts of bits and pieces. I'm a casting generalist these days, or specialist, so yeah.
Generalist or specialist.
One or the other.
Yeah, whatever you need, Both
flow.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, look, we're here to chat some nitty-gritty on The Secret Life of Us. And... So that series, for our avid listener at home there, series begins with a pilot, and then if we get the approval, we go to the series as commissioned. One of the crazy notes, which I remember mentioning to some of the others, is that we shot 22 by 1 hour episodes per season, which is such a big chunk now of things. And we did, the show did 4 seasons. I did 3 of those. So that's a lot. A lot if someone hasn't seen anything. Here's 66 hours of joyful watching for you.
Yeah, it is. It's a hell of a lot. Yeah.
It is a lot. Now, Mulliner's Casting, one of Australia's, if not Australia's, premier casting house there. Anne Robinson was lead cast originally, and you were her associate on that in Sydney, based out of Sydney at that point, and you guys put together the initial cast. How did that come about? What do you remember about that process in terms of the sorts of conversations with, like Claudia and because I'm sure some of those were more offers than that.
It was, and more so probably to do with John Edwards as well, to be fair.
Producer.
And Anne did sort of drive the initial show. It was pretty phenomenal in the sense of even reading it, the characters jumped off the page. And I felt that instead of actually it being that we had such an influence of casting it, it was the actors that came in and they were just the characters and they didn't even know it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It
almost cast
we
itself.
We didn't know it. It kind of cast itself. It was like, that is so, and there's so many stories of that, especially with Kelly and Deb Mailman.
Just on her for a second there, I did talk to her about that, and we talked a little bit about Indigenous representation on screens at that time, and that character not written as Indigenous in any way, shape, or form. And we were doing an interview actually with Deb, and someone said, were you conscious of representing? And she said, I just wanted a job, which I loved.
So true.
But it was ahead of its time in that regard, in just saying, that these are the characters and whoever embodies them gets them. So that's to your point of saying, like, those people kind of walked in. Do you by any chance remember Samuel Johnson's audition?
I do.
Do
I
you?
do.
He was very frank in his recollection of it.
Yes.
What do you recall?
He was Evan.
Yeah. That is the perfect answer because if you've listened to any of the other episodes on Secret Life of Us, you'll hear him talk about that. And we laughed a lot because I think he said, they offered to me. I said, nah, fuck off. I'm not doing a soapy, And then he said, Claudia's attached. He goes, yeah, I'm doing that. And I went, okay, right.
Totally.
It was very funny. Very
and he turned up, he had no shoes on, I don't think he really knew his lines.
He said he read it.
I think, exactly. I don't even think he read it. And it just was like, that's Evan.
Yeah.
There's no one else that can
embodied.
Play Evan. Yeah. Bless him.
How funny. I do recall mine with Abby because I'm sure you would recall, Paul Layden was originally cast as Richie.
Right. Yes.
And then he went off to do, he got offered, I forget, Guiding Light or something, one of those big American soaps, which he did for 10 years. I looked it up, so a good choice for him. He was like, excellent, gave me an opportunity, very happy to have taken it.
Yes.
But I do remember that because I was thinking, I won't get to audition for the show because I clashed with Home and Away, which I was doing at the time as well. And anyway, but I know he was cast there, and so everyone else was cast, and I came in. I remember working with Abby in the Sydney office. That was that was fun.
Course.
But it was definitely, like you say, a show that had on the page a lot of great DNA. It's something we hadn't seen before. I mean, do you think it's fair to say it was different? But why do you think it was different? Because we obviously had a lot of cop shows and things like that. What was it that really jumped out about it?
It was relatable. It was authentic, and it was relatable.
Yeah.
I think, certainly from my perspective, it was the life I was living on paper.
So you were in a script because you were the same age as the cast. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
I think we all were really in a strange way, like especially Amanda and the crew down in Melbourne.
Yeah, and Amanda, the other producer, Amanda Higgs.
Amanda Higgs. We were sort of living that life, flashing. Ironically, I rented in St Kilda. I didn't know the show was going to be shot there.
Yep.
And it was just like you're living that life down at the Vineyard, which was,
which is still
Hive
there.
Bar, wasn't it? What was the bar called that was in the show?
Oh, Foo Bar.
That's right.
The Foo Bar.
The Foo
Bar.
I mean, it was just crazy. Wasn't it? It was just, we were all living that. I mean, a classic, and I think too, the writers just listened to we all used to hang out. So, because we didn't know anyone else, a lot of us came down from Sydney. So it wasn't because we'd all hang out for about a year and then all of a sudden it went on.
Because we shot the whole first season before it went to air. So we had a year working together where we were just in a little bubble where nobody knew what was going on, knew us, or anything like that. So, like you say, because you'd moved down, just backtracking there.
Yes.
You moved down from Sydney to then head up the casting here in Melbourne because it was originally set in Bondi but got moved to St Kilda as a choice from the network there. And so I was Sydney-based at that point too and had come down.
Yes.
I think Claudia was, Deb was, there's a whole bunch. So we had to go and find a house and work it out. And and we did all kind of gravitate towards St Kilda.
Yeah.
Ironically. I think the second year after season one was out, I was like, I've got to get out of St Kilda. This is the worst place I could possibly be.
Exactly.
Because
go to Geelong.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's
go.
like everyone's staring at you and you go, oh my God, you live here. I'm like, yes, sorry. But you're right, they did snaffle the odd story here or there from our lives and feed them in. I am talking to Judy and Amanda actually about it, so I do plan on bringing that up with Judy and saying, how dare you?
Some stories.
How dare you put our
screen.
stuff on screen? That's not appropriate. Do you remember the screening of the pilot at all? Or the first time you saw the pilot?
Yes.
What did you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. And, I think we all of us do enough work. And even back then, we've done things that we've gone, it might not be our taste, but we're proud of it. Do you see what I mean? This was not only something, that everyone could be proud of, but it was something that I watched and I loved. Like, I couldn't wait. When the script arrived on my desk, it was like, because it wasn't by email, I couldn't wait to see what Richie was doing and what Evan was doing. And, you're in that world. And so it showed you that, and then who would fill those roles as guest roles.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was. What did you think of it?
I particularly remember the thing I was struck by was the music. because they had is it Motor Race that did the opening song?
Yes.
There as well, and it just completely set this like grounded, grungy tone, which I just hadn't expected.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd been nowhere near the post process as such. You know, we were not kept away from that, but as an actor, you don't generally. So as we went into series, you know, the edit suites are down the hall, so you can go have a look in that. But certainly the pilot, we shot it, did it, and then just had to wait and see what happened. So it was really fascinating to see that. And again, similarly to see just the way it looked, and it looked very cool. And I was like, I'm super proud of this. And it looked like nothing else we'd seen on television because we shot on 16mm film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but we shot on 16mm film as opposed to like video or HD tape.
And you could tell.
Yeah.
You could
and
tell.
it had a very different look to it in that regard, which was quite cool. Do you remember at all, Wizzy, the industry kind of buzz and around the show? Like in terms of, I know it was the script everyone was talking about during auditions, right? Everyone said, it's very different. Like we just touched on that one before. But do you remember if there was any kind of chatter, you know, through your channels and producers and things about what the show was and how it landed when it first came out, etc.?
Oh, look, I just remember it being the show of the moment. It was kind of the equivalent of what Sex and the City was doing. You know, like in a way, everyone was talking about it.
Yeah. Because we had at that point, it was appointment viewing, right? It wasn't binge watching. You had to watch it or you'd miss it. 9:30 on a Monday after Sex and the City. We were screening. Yeah.
And it was just, I think everyone wanted a taste of it. It was huge.
Yeah.
Competitions. Remember there was competitions, ran competitions for guest roles. There was, you know, Barina ran competitions.
Oh, that's
there was,
right. And you had a Barina for a while, didn't you?
And I had a Barina.
You went and got yourself a little...
You know the story about that
Barina?
Barina is I went to get the Barina only to find out from dear Amanda Higgs that we can actually get 20% off or something or other. And I paid full price for this Barina. It's like, damn it.
Well, we'll get it back now for our good friends at Holden. Looking for a bit of a kickback. That we're happy and open to all considerations here.
Yeah. But it's funny because I do think that everyone wanted that a piece of the action, and it was pretty mad. I remember like St Kilda Festival they used to have, and there was a whole building allocated for The Secret Life of Us, or it was some sort of party
and
or
I remember
whatever.
we had to go
and
from one place to another,
and just walking down was just a nightmare. I remember there was someone in our group that no one knew who he was, and he'd actually been with us the whole time. That just wouldn't happen now. Everyone thought it was a friend of someone's. And then
security's
like
keeping
weird
them
kind of
in there.
Like all those stories were so funny.
It's very odd. It's very odd. But speaking of everybody wanting a piece of it, I'm just going to list off some of the guest casts that we had. And I shouldn't say guest cast because some of them are... There's the initial casting that we did, of course, and then as we went on, Michael Dorman joined as a permanent cast, and then later Anna Torv moved into season 4, I think, of what she'd come into with Stephen Curry.
Yes.
But we also had Brooke Satchwell, Murray Bartlett, Vince Colosimo, Catherine McClements, Pia Miranda, Debbie Byrne, Mary Kustos, Ben Mendelsohn, Nathan Page, Pamela Rabe. It is one of the most ridiculous lists of casts.
Guest cast, especially back then, because remember people didn't necessarily want to, actors didn't necessarily want to do television as much. There was film actors and there was television actors.
Yes.
And that was the start of breaking it all up. And I think Secret Life then encouraged those actors to go,
to look
such
at the
a good
screen.
script, and it was shot on film, and it was all of those things.
That was happening globally, I think. Really, Claudia talks a bit about that as well. What was it like from your side? So you're the casting agent down here in Melbourne filling these roles. It doesn't sound like it would have been hard to go out to people and say, are you interested in this? Was it a difficult process or was it joyful? What was it like from your side?
Absolutely joyful, because you did have the pick of, you didn't have to fight to get people on board at that stage. But then also too, it was quite mad in a sense of, I remember one day there was this package on my desk and I opened it, the days of mail, lots of mail, and I opened it and it was a plastic foot, literally. And there was a note that said, now I've got my foot in the door.
Oh.
Can I be on Secret Life of Us?
Yeah.
all
Do you
this
remember who
stuff.
that was
And,
from?
gosh, no.
No.
There was people knocking on doors. Like it was literally everyone wanted to be on the show, and that was. It's great for the show, but as the casting director, it was tough.
Yes.
Because I remember even being at the Dogs Bar with family visiting and just chatting generally. It was a Saturday night. I wasn't working, and having an actor come over asking how their audition went the day before, and I just went,
great,
mate,
Yeah, you just reminded me.
Yeah.
Diana Glenn.
Yes.
So
great story.
Speaking of setting a foot, if memory serves, she filmed herself. She wrote scenes. She filmed herself and cut herself into. She used existing footage from Secret Life with Evan, I think, mostly, and maybe Claudia. I can't remember. But she'd write scenes and she would do the other part of it and created a whole storyline and made a tape and sent it into everybody to
be Evan's love interest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she came on board.
I thought that was absolutely so much. So I had to show the producers. I had to show them because it's brilliant.
The amount of work I remember seeing the amount of work she did in it as well, because the shots literally match. They're beautifully shot. And at that time everyone didn't have an iPhone they're shooting on. She would have had to go to some effort.
Yeah.
And
she was also good.
Yes,
and she
she's gone on to do many things and is one of our great actresses in this country. And she's absolutely awesome. So it wasn't just like good gimmick and you'll get the gig. Yeah. But I just think it was funny that I hadn't heard the foot one. That's I might use that. Did I steal that? I'll be sending that to America. Now I've got my foot in the door.
Exactly.
Let's have a chat. So
there was so many stories like that.
Yeah, wow. I guess you would get that, wouldn't you? Because you are essentially the gatekeeper. You're one of the people that says yes or no to people. Is that a hard responsibility?
Oh, look, when you want everyone, it's often also, it's not about that they do anything wrong. I think a lot of actors believe that they stuffed up an audition or they did something wrong or they weren't. It's not, if you're actually having that audition, if you're in there at that audition, you have every right to have that role. Because I don't want to look stupid. I'm not going to send off a tape, as we did back, and of people that can't act. Yeah. So if you're in there to it's just getting the audition is probably a bit tough. But I think everyone's got something that, obviously it just depends whether they ended up being the character or not.
Yeah.
And again, I think even the guest roles, it was like, that's it.
It's them.
That's it. It's them. You could just see it. And that's actually absolute credit to the writing. The writers, Judy McCross and all the writers that were on board.
I recall one of the, I use this term very loosely and lightly, controversial castings was Jacek Koman.
Yes.
Who played Sibylla's love interest, who was not who I think people expected. He was, and nor was the character.
No.
The older guy from work that she was dating, and Jacek, if the easiest reference to say, he's the guy that does Roxanne in Moulin Rouge, right? Yes. Gravelly, all of that. And just not what was traditional in casting choices. And he was so good, and that dynamic was so amazing, and it just made everybody go, hang on, what's going on? Do you remember how that one came about?
Jacek, and don't quote me on this. I think
well, it's on tape,
might,
so
you
no
might have to.
here.
It might not be. It might have to be edited out, this one, because I think he may have auditioned in Sydney, even though I think he's based in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I did see the audition.
Yeah.
I felt I think with the other thing that we did do a lot, which this could have happened, is I remember bringing in the actors. You'd remember this. I'd bring in the main cast.
Yes.
Even if it was, especially if it was a love interest. And Sibylla was absolutely, I remember at the time they're saying, Jacek's incredible. And he is, and he's an amazing actor. I used to ring Sam all the time and say, okay, this obviously it's calling for an older woman for you.
Yes.
Who do you like out there, Sam? Who you got a crush on?
I'll take Catherine McClellan.
Yeah, I'll take Catherine McClellan.
And
thanks.
there she was.
And that's really important. Chemistry's really important.
Oddly enough, Jacek's partner.
Yeah.
At the time, so keep it all in the family.
Yeah.
Look, that chemistry is absolutely important. Yeah. And thank you for Murray Bartlett. That was difficult days they were for me. Very difficult days.
Yeah. Murray was gorgeous, wasn't he, in that show? He's just a beautiful actor.
Let's have a little chat about some of the more personal stuff, because you and I hung out a lot. Mm-hmm. We became very good friends during that period.
Yes.
And how we got to know each other. Who would you say was the biggest troublemaker?
Oh,
Tongue in
wow.
cheek. Tongue in cheek. I use that term very loosely and in good faith and with jest, you know. So,
I mean, Sam, isn't he? Just to get Sam on the straight note, but I've got so much love for Sam.
Oh, absolutely.
Samuel. He definitely was. He kept us on our toes, I think.
Well, he was Evan.
He was Evan.
And is
Definitely.
Evan, you know.
And I did have a few of the actors at all times of the night, won't mention any names, knocking on my door in St Kilda saying that they were, you know, I don't know, they'd got into, you know, some paparazzi taking a photo, or they'd jumped into some bush, or they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing. And it's like, what am I, a drop-in house?
Well,
but, you know, there was a few
nearby.
troublemakers. I was nearby.
You were nearby.
Go to bed and have put them in my bed, and then I'd be on the couch, you know.
So we'll work it out in the morning.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. Don't worry about
I'm a
that.
whiz.
Do you have, what's your kind of funniest or most chaotic memory of that kind of period? Is there anything particular? Yeah,
it was just, I think, the furor of what it was just like
the whirlwind.
Walking down. Yeah, I mean, I remember what was so fond to me was being quite new to Melbourne, that I really felt like we all had each other's backs.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a really lovely dinner at Claudia's house. She was always the more mature one. She was that little bit older.
Yes.
And we're all sitting around and just like literally just having, she made us a really nice meal, which normally we'd have a kebab down on Macklin Street. So it was really nice. And it was just, you know, I was sitting on the balcony. I don't know if you ever remember that, but it was just really, I remember just thinking that we all had each, and then Joel dropped me home to make sure I got home. So, you know, it was all this kind of really sweet, like we all had each other's backs.
Yeah,
you know,
camaraderie.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I'm sure you guys more so on set. I mean, I wasn't even a part of that. You know, I mean, I'd go to set occasionally and say hi, but it was just like, you know, you'd have another level, obviously, all being together. But I felt like, yeah, we were a little kind of little bubble of fun and joy and hopelessness, and also, you know, hopefulness.
Yeah,
you know, it
was a great time, you know, and I certainly do look back affectionately on that period, and like I say, a lot of hopefulness and just, I think it was working on a show that you felt had commentary about now, you know, the now of then, obviously, if that makes sense, at the time we were in, and offered something positive for people to kind of experience, you know, and I tend to think that's probably why it still resonates.
Yes.
You know, so we're 25 years on, and it's still on 7+ now. All of it's on there. 9 now, 10 ran it, Netflix ran it. You know, that's just here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think, or I should say, why do you think it still has this longevity?
Because when you break it all down, it really is just about finding your way through life and friendship and love. And, you know, those three, you know, in the first episode when Deb Kelly says, you know, like your work life, your love life and your home life.
Yeah,
or
the trifecta.
You know, the trifecta.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, I think, where we are in life. We obviously get better at it as we get older. But I think we're always juggling that, and we're always trying to be better versions of ourselves. And that's all those kids did. Yeah. And that's all what we were trying to do at that age. We were all just trying to be better versions of ourselves. And that's what the characters did as well.
And I guess that is universal.
And it's universal. And
that
it
is
still
timeless.
happens. And it's timeless.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in fact, one of my colleagues, ex-colleagues now, a really dear friend of mine, he and his wife, and he was 38, just watched it recently. So he is, you know, only a slight bit younger.
He's a couple of years younger than us. He's catching up.
You know, he just said they just absolutely loved it. Addicted. Every night, I was watching episode after episode, just getting through the series.
There's plenty to get through, as we say.
Yeah.
So, you know, within the storylines of Secret Life, were there any particular arcs that you responded to or felt like? Were you closer to Kelly? You know how everyone goes in Sex and the City, which one are you?
Wow.
Is there were you a Kelly? Were you a bit of Alex? Where did you sit, do you think? Whose stories resonated with you?
Probably what I think and what I was.
Maybe. You tell me what you think, I'll tell you what you were. Right.
Well, yeah, true. We knew each other very well, and we still do. I think. Look, honestly, probably Alex more so. I think I still am.
It's Claudia's character there,
because he was, she quite a responsible job at a younger age, which I did have.
Yes.
But then I also wanted to let my hair down, and you struggle with that sort of fine line, crossing over that line. So probably Alex, but I think we all love Kelly's joy.
Yeah.
Kelly's joy was just universal, I think.
Yeah.
And then the mistakes the characters made was just so beautiful, and I say that like they were beautiful mistakes. It's just what we all did in our 20s. It was messy, and
you make mistakes.
and I want to talk about or touch on your character. I mean, really, absolutely incredible, your storyline. And I think it was really poignant for that time. As well, and coming out, and I mean, it was incredibly poignant. So, yeah. I
always remember one of my fondest memories is working with Joel on the coming out scene on the back of a ute with beers. I mean, it doesn't get any gayer than that, does it? I'm like, okay.
Brokeback Mountain.
Exactly, right. There you go. That's a butcher still. But I do remember it was quite, because obviously, the character Will in the show, tradie, and his best mate, Richie, actor, and that scene, it was so much fun to do, like in that weird way actors love trauma, It's like, it was really great to do, and he was so wonderful to work with. I always remember that. He approached it very seriously and took it very seriously as well, because obviously knowing my own situation as well at that point, and being gay but not necessarily out in public.
Yes.
So he was really good with handling all of that, which was just lovely of him to be so generous in that way.
Absolutely. And he was a beautiful actor in those scenes with, exactly that scene is quite incredible. The other scene is when you're in that bar, in that club, and then you get in a cab and you vomit because of the emotion.
Yes.
Richie has,
having been exposed
and
to
it's
that.
just, and then realising this is me, like those sorts of, you remember them like, I remember those scenes. Like, it's, so they must have, the writing and how it was shot, the whole, the whole crew, the cast, everyone just did an amazing job.
Has that show in any way influenced your life choices moving forward? Did you take anything away from that show? You don't have to have, by the way.
I think always thinking, in a way, not always, but thinking about the trifecta. As a simple,
I am exactly the same.
Like, I think
it's the first thing that comes to mind, and I go, it's my check-in. How am I going? 1, 2, 3. I'm okay. I go, shit, I've lost that one. Get it back.
It's like, why can't we have all those three things going on?
That concept was a really cool one that they come up with, and I'm the same. It's the one I carry with me as this odd little kind of litmus test.
Yes.
And go, how are we doing?
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it is quite incredible too. I think what the script overall did with just actually bringing people to a point of unity and togetherness. Like, it was something we'd all... Remember there was that documentary? There was a documentary on The Secret Life of Us called The Secret Life of the Secret Life of Us.
I only was reminded this year. I'd completely forgotten about it, and I saw it on someone's IMDb. It was Abby's. I was looking up some stuff, and I went, what's that? I was like...
You can't find it anywhere.
I vaguely remember that. I was like, The Secret Life of Us. I go, we'll have to dig it up.
So that was played at 8:30 on Channel 10 on a Monday evening.
Prime time.
It got over 2 million. People watching, just, you go for a script read. Just for the read through,
Behind the scenes.
Now, and then we go,
now it's social media
it's
posts.
fantastic. I think it's fantastic 3 times. But it's just that there you go. That shows how popular it was.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate
so lovely to see you.
Your commentary and insight on this, and it's lovely to celebrate the show. Yes. And I'm looking forward to going and have a little wine now.
Can't wait. Just like Secure Days.
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Spence.
That's it for this episode of McLaren Versus. I'm Spencer McLaren, and thank you for spending some time with us. If you enjoyed this chat, then please don't forget to follow and leave us a review.